Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Blacktop Banter, and this is episode 14. So we made it past 13, which some people may deem as lucky or unlucky. I don't believe in luck. I believe it is what you make it. So 13, I think, was a good one too. 14 is going to be a good one too. So I got to give a shout out as always, as usual. And this one goes to Piedmont Paving, at Piedmont Paving. That's the Instagram handle. Those guys recently did a shopping center, a big one with a Hobby Lobby on it, I seen, and we were talking back and forth, and it was a lot of, are we going to get shut down? Are we not going to get shut down? What's going to happen? And it looked like those guys crushed it and peeled that thing out, and I hope they're doing more right now. So there it is. That's that first shout out. The other thing I got to mention is the giveaway. It's all inside that box there. It's got some brouhaha coffee in it, a hat from MBW Inc., our other sponsor, Liberty Supply, has tips in there again this time. I myself, we put a Blacktop Banter coaster like this one in there, which is partly cut off, so it just says "if Marvin Jones." So, whatever, use your imagination, finish it out, take some grammar classes, I don't know. So that thing is going this month. That's April edition. Hashtag don't say I can't do it, man. I can't do it. That one is going this month. And I did say on a post on Instagram how you can enter 2 ways. You can share the podcast, the actual podcast itself, from any of the listening platforms on any social media, or you can simply just subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe on there, and let me know that you subscribed and you're good to go. So I know I haven't been doing a lot of solo podcasts lately. That's because a lot of us have time. So I figure we might as well get everybody that does have time that I've been wanting to get on the podcast. And I think it can bring some value and some insight to us. And they're just downright interesting sometimes. That's why I want to get on here while I have everyone in their house and, they're at my mercy. So I really appreciate everybody jumping in. And with that, I'm going to introduce Henry Boswell of Boswell Paving. Henry, tell us about yourself and, tell us about where you're at, where you're located, and what you all do.
Hi, my name is Henry. I'm out of Boise, Idaho. We work with Boswell Asphalt Paving Solutions. My mom, my dad, and my brother were all owners of the business. When we first started off, it was my cool papa and my dad. They worked together. They were just seal coaters and painters. And then from there, my dad bought a 69 dump truck. I just asked him today, how old was the truck? He said 69. It was he called it the pig because it was rolling coal and everything was just dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. That's cool that was their first piece of equipment choice.
Oh, this is their first piece of equipment. And then he made a homemade drag box. And so they'd use a homemade drag box.
Yeah, in the 60s and early 70s, that was a way of doing it, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
So he just made his homemade drag box. He got to work. We've been slowly building up equipment. From there, been working for the past 24 years. We've been in Idaho. Mm-hmm. And that's where we just stayed, grow our roots at.
Yep.
Sorry, don't say
Good. It's good to get reminded. So where are you at in Idaho?
I'm actually in Nampa. My parents are in Meridian. I don't know if you ever watched college football, but with the blue and orange, the blue field.
Yeah.
Yeah, blue field, just right around there.
Cool, man. That's the only reason I recognize Idaho, honestly, truthfully. You could name off everything but Boise, and I would have no clue where anything was. So I've been to Idaho. I've been there once. I drove down through there once, but I didn't see a blue field. I just seen a lot of brown. And
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But so you guys have been there that long. What all services do you guys offer there at Boswell?
So we do almost everything related to asphalt. We do the paving side. We do seal coating, crack filling, the fog seal. We do our slurry seal and chip seal as well. The only thing we really don't do is we don't do concrete. I mean, we'll remove it, but we don't do that.
All right. Do you guys do line striping or do you sub that out?
We do some line striping. Sometimes we sub it out, just depending on the job.
Sometimes it's faster, too, if you sub it out. Like, it's actually more profitable because you can just get the heck out of there, and you could be on to another project. So, yeah, I fully get that one. I know you mentioned slurry, and where I'm at, slurry's almost done with. It's just, I don't know. It's hard for us here because we peel it up with the snowplows pretty dang hard, and
Yeah.
it actually creates a different texture. But I've seen you guys use it. I've seen the videos, and some of the videos go viral about the slurry. You want to just explain that to some people because it's not a huge topic that a lot of people talk about, and kind of run down what slurry is, what the use of it is. Some guys don't know, and it might be good to give them some insight.
So the best way I could describe slurry is basically a chip seal without loose rock. And what a chip seal is, it's you throw down your oil, you put your rock on it, you sweep off the excess rock, and then you seal. Then you seal right over it. That's how we usually do chip seal.
With a fog seal, you go over it with a fog seal.
Yeah, we go over with the fog seal to lock it in.
What kind of fog seal do you guys use right there, really quick?
I think it's an SS1H. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what we use up here in the northern parts of Wisconsin on the chip seal and stuff too. But what's the slurry then?
So the slurry is basically you got your aggregate in the big tank. I don't know if you see our trucks. You got the aggregate. You got your oil tank on one side. Then you got your water tank. Then you have another additive tank and a cement hopper. That all drops down into a pug mill, and it all mixes up and all basically down into a drag box with squeegees. That's all basically the only way you can apply it. You can't spray it or anything because it will set up within minutes.
So is that how you guys apply it then, is through a drag box, or do you apply it? Because I thought I seen in one of the videos like some augers or maybe some armatures or maybe.
Yeah, I call it a drag box. It's called a slurry box when sometimes it has augers. Those augers, what they do is they push the material out to the sides.
Okay.
And that's it. Just make sure you just have an even flow of everything with that.
So do you clean the surface the exact same way you would for seal coating?
Yes, you would clean it exactly the same. Just prep it, everything the same. You just got to be careful with just make sure everything's the same. Just make sure everything's clean, no dirt, no oil. Just scrub it off. I mean, it could be a little bit dirtier than normal with a seal coat, but it's basically the same. Everything is as good as your base.
So what kind of aggregate, what size, what kind do you guys use out there for your slurry?
So our slurry, it goes from type 1 to type 3, and that's just the thickness of the rock. I had to write some of this stuff down because it's like your type 1 is 1/8, your type 2 is 1/4, and your type 3 is 3/8 with crushed up sand.
Cool, dude. I'm glad that you're prepared because I have no clue in the area of slurry. I like it. I actually like it. I like to see it on stuff, and I like to see guys putting it down because it's interesting to me. And I believe there's some areas. I looked at one. I knew this podcast was coming, and I looked at a job yesterday here in Wisconsin, and I thought, man, if slurry would hold up, this would be perfect before it, because it wasn't that the entire thing of asphalt was bad, but here in Wisconsin, a lot of people will use half their, like the entryway of their driveway will be for tractors and heavy machinery too, and it goes to the machine shed, and then the rest of the driveway goes to the house. And I was looking at a bottom end where it was just shattered, it was alligated really bad and rough, and I thought, man, that'd be a good move, if we could get some slurry and stuff to go down right.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love it. It's just, to me, it's my favorite product to put down. It's a lot harder than other products because you got to make sure your oil's right, your water's right, everything has to be right. You have to calibrate your machines. It's almost like a little science to this. And when we first started off, my dad, we were struggling. I mean, we were breaking down, crying, almost tears. It was hard because we didn't have anybody to teach us. Yeah. My dad looked at me and he says, I don't know what the F you're doing, but do something effing different, because, I mean, we were just struggling that bad.
Cool. Well, how'd you figure it out then, man?
So what we did is we actually had the Road Science. They're a chemistry place where we send off our oil or rock. We had them come out and kind of help us. And then we actually we hired a good buddy of ours. Hey, come out, kind of show us what to do. And we had to take best of, hey, we can make good mix here. And then, hey, this is basically the technical bookwork with it. And we had to just basically merge it all together to figure it out.
Cool. Well, rather than throw it to the side, like, maybe some people would have, the fact that your dad was like, figure this out, and you guys actually did figure it out, that speaks a lot.
Oh,
That speaks a
oh,
lot.
we had to. There was no other way.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
we actually financed it, and it was more than my parents' house, and it was like there's no other way than through it. Because if we knew what we know now, we probably would have never got into it.
I gotcha. I gotcha. That might be the whole, that might be a lot of things in life, dude, with a lot of us. But I want to get back to the slurry before I diverge off of it. How does it cure out for you guys? I mean, does it crack at all? Does it peel? I mean, I'm kind of just curious about the curing process of it, because it does go down, like you said, sometimes thicker, sometimes
Yeah.
quarter of an inch, sometimes 3/8. What does that look like as far as the curing? And do you guys
So
have to finish it with anything on top of it, or is it just when it's dry, it's done?
when it's dry, it turns that black. Most of my pictures, you kind of see that brown look to it.
Yep.
And so basically, you got your slurry and you got your micro. The only difference between your slurry and a micro is one's air dry and one's chemical dry.
Mm-hmm.
So our slurry, we could have it dry within 4 hours, ready for traffic. And then I could have our micro ready to dry in 1 hour, ready for traffic.
I gotcha. Yeah. So we actually, like, right out in front of the new house here, there's a micro on the road,
Yeah.
and I don't know that I've ever really seen true slurry, but micro is about as close as I can ever get to it.
Yeah.
Right around here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just an idiot, and then it's all over Wisconsin and I've missed those roads. But that's kind of my big thing. And I think, with you guys doing slurry, I know you do everything else, and I hate to just focus on slurry, but
oh no, it's okay.
when it comes to social media, you don't really see too many slurry videos out there, and you especially don't see too many slurry videos that go viral. And within our industry, a couple of years ago, I believe it was, wasn't it? Or was it last summer? One of these here, you had a slurry video that for our industry went viral. It was shared all over the place. So, when it comes to slurry, it's an interesting thing. And I really appreciate you talking about it, because, like, you get some stuff that people are experts at, and you get some stuff that they know nothing about, which I know nothing about slurry. Besides, I know the basics, what it consists of, what it does, but I never knew anything about the aggregates, and it all went into pug mill and stuff like that, and that there was differences between drying times and things. So I appreciate you touching on it. But now that I've already opened the viral video, or the big, the videos on slurry, you have a pretty successful, for our industry, Instagram. And sometimes, Instagram takes off, and then sometimes it's like the Blacktop Banter Instagram, which I pray gets followers every day, and I might get one or two. So, good enough. I'll take it. But when it comes to making videos, do you have any advice as far as, it doesn't so much have to be the slurry, but just, any advice in general for making videos that attract attention?
Yeah, no. So what I basically done was, I was like, okay, every day kind of seems normal and boring to people that are around it at all times. And I was just like, okay, well, let me just do a close up on some certain things. Like, my biggest video has been my crack filling video. I think you've
Oh
seen
yeah,
that.
I've seen that. I've seen it's got an infamous fork in the crack, and then then you see the puck lay sideways, and then just pumps stuff out and then fills up. I mean, that's your big video. I mean, that thing was everywhere, and still is.
It's not even my favorite.
But it's everywhere, because you see it fill the crack up flush, and a lot of times you see that overband, and that video doesn't even have the overband. It filled up flush a lot of spots. It was perfect, I thought.
Oh yeah, well that job was actually, we were doing an airport right there, and they didn't want the overband. We had to do that. You always had to be right below the asphalt. That's how they wanted it done.
That's interesting, man. So
that was a hard job for us to do, and we had a bunch of crew working there. And my dad, he bought a drone. He said, "Hey, figure out this drone." And then I was like, "Okay." Well, he was playing with it, so I ran over to them, and then I was just like, "Okay, well, let me take some before pictures." And like, "Oh, let me just try a video." And that's just.
Dad, let me figure out something like slurry again. Don't make me fly a drone. I don't want to. But I don't want to have to figure out a drone. Can't I just figure out chemical compositions of an alcohol product again? Yeah. I know, dude. I had mine, and we've used it, but I was always so sketched out about my drone, man. Sometimes I had the DJI Phantom 3, and I upgraded and kept moving. But now I just hire it out if we want drone shots. But I would feel so confident, and it would get up 30 or 40 feet, Henry, and then it would
Oh,
go switching to manual, and and I was like, oh God, and pretty soon that thing would be going
yeah.
and I was fighting all over. One time it came across a field where I was trying to bring it back down, dude, and trying to be like stud pilot, dude, like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, but it didn't happen, dude. It come in hot at like 40 miles an hour, and it hit the ground and just was flipping, and I seen the wings fly everywhere, and I was like, I'm not going to get this, strong wind picks up and it took it out. But, I think the difference between, you see a lot of drone shots. They're
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
I love drone videos. I love seeing drone shots of work and stuff like that. But your videos of everything being close up gives people a different perspective, correct?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to say. I mean, I try to go close up. I mean, I have my brother, all the guys torching about me, how I'm bending over like an old man trying to get close up. They always say, you look like an idiot, Henry. But I mean, it's just whatever it takes to just maybe, hey, maybe that will work, that won't work. And just, I mean, to me, I'd rather see somebody's parking lot. I think it's very beautiful. A lot of people work that they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, if people like seeing, hey, it's hot, it's different, it's slow, just all up close. They like seeing that. And that's what I usually like to play with. If I could write better, I feel like my Instagram would be better, but I'm not that intelligent.
That's all right, dudes. People are
Yeah.
good at all kinds of different things. We had
Yeah.
Cameron Hogan on the podcast, and that dude's an incredible writer, I think, and that's
Yeah.
his strong suit, and that's what he plays to. But then we see your videos of everything up slow. The hashtag oddly satisfying.
Yeah.
That's what yours are, dude. And it just, for us, we geek out on that stuff anyways. And
Mm-hmm.
there's some people that geek out on those drone shots, like those drone shots that go
Oh, yeah.
down, and you see these perfectly black areas with striping layouts that are immaculate, and you can see
Oh, yeah.
they're like works of art. And we geek out on those things too. So there's plenty of different areas and facets. And besides the close-up stuff, what other things help with your Instagram post being successful? Because, dude, I've seen multiple different accounts have your video on them. So how does that work?
So a lot of people, I guess, they just try to figure out, hey, what has gone well, what other people's gone well, and they just kind of repost it. So my crack filling's gone. That was my most viral one. So I think that other people's like, okay, this went viral. Well, how about this video? And I think they used some of my other videos, because under my Instagram, I post a little thing that says, hey, these are my most viral videos. So yeah. I mean, people just go up, they just mention me, and that's kind of how I've grown.
Oh, gotcha. So they just share the video. They'll ask you, hey, can we share this video if we give you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And they say DM for credit, and that's kind of how we grow. And I think how we've mostly grown, like the fastest, where things gone viral, is just a short amount of people just going up and just, hey, liking it, and it's just sharing to more and more people.
Yeah.
And then I always wonder, is like, say somebody sent this to this, and like, why would it doesn't say who sent what to who, but it's like, why are people sending my videos? I'm like, I don't think it's that great, but
yeah, well, we see it every day, So
yeah.
else it's like, oh, and I think people that are outside of our industry look at us as just, it's pretty basic. These guys are laborers, they make stuff black, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden with social media, we're able to kind of put a magnifying glass on that thing and be like, yeah, well, have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen this up close? And it gets people interesting. Remember that there used to be a TV show called How It's Made. You ever know?
I love that show.
I just remember the hammering of the hammer and the things moving in and out. And dude, I would watch that show all the time. And it would be and to me, a lot of times it would be like, Band-Aids, or it'd be just some crazy crap that like you never thought you would even care at all how it's made. And
I mean, it's insane. Like I look at my wife's Instagram, and sometimes she'll watch in like the little balls crushing the bath bombs or whatever crush. She'll love it. So I was like, okay, well, she did that. I was like, oh, I'll run a bath bomb over with our paver. I just tried a bunch of other stuff, crushing little toys, and I just tried
underneath the roller. Yeah, smash that. Yeah, that should be a whole different Instagram account. Roll it. Just call it. Or flatten this. Yeah. And then
one time we took out a pumpkin. We just draw a face on it. It was like, hey, let's just bring it out like it's a worker for the day. And then we rolled over it. Cool. It's kind of cool because I really feel like the social media it helps your business, but I also think it helps your employees, your work environment. Everybody's like, hey, I want to be posted or something like that, or just
it helps
everybody's trying their best and they're just having fun with it.
Yeah, it makes people feel like they're part of something a little bit bigger, because
Yeah.
everyone knows if it's on the internet, it ain't going nowhere. It's gonna be there.
Oh yeah, I had one guy. He was on the bad dirt and just squishing it. I think he had like 300,000 views. He's like, my feet are famous.
Yeah, but the shoes got to go. I seen those shoes.
Yeah, he's like, got the shoes.
Next time, take those shoes off. Then your feet will really be famous.
I might get some money. No.
yeah. Truthfully. So, I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, you were talking about I seen that one where you were talking about the base where it was soft and moving around. Does the unique stuff, do you have an eye for that, you think? Stuff that where you're like, well, this is unique and different, and we've never encountered this before. Does that help you think, sometimes with those posts?
I think it helps it, but I also think what helps is just not being afraid to show everything. Because I mean, sometimes I feel like, hey, people don't want to show the bad dirt or anything like that. They kind of just want to, hey, I just want to show a pretty parking lot done.
All finished.
All finished. And I feel like that's a lot of the problems that people are doing is all they're saying, hey, look at this parking lot. Please call us right now. We want to do your job. Look at you watch Gary Vee, jab, right hook. Everybody's just throwing out right hooks. It's like, I don't think I've ever thrown out like really a right hook before. And that's all I'm trying to do is let's just post something different that other people aren't doing.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think, with your page, especially your page, you see a lot of different stuff. It's not always just the finished product. Call us today. This could be you. Call us today. Visit our website. It's more of what these guys have encountered. This, they do this. This happened. They did this. And with us, I think, that's kind of where we are too. With the Blacktop Banter one, I won't say so much with the Wiscoat one right now, but it's hard over the winter, and I don't log a bunch of stuff. I wish I did. I wish I had kept a log of like, all right, here's a huge list of content. Slowly put it out over the winter, but I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, on Christmas Day, as soon as I get content, I'm like, it's gotta go out. Boom, 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 boom. We gotta put it out. I want people to see this. I want to show off my work. There's a good book called Show Your Work, and once I read that book, that's when I really started showing some stuff off. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I think, being genuine, showing the soft base and stuff like that, and then showing your crack filling, those cracks that were routed out and filling it up. And then, I personally like the Slurry videos because I like to see it's almost got a slow roll going. Like, damn, that thing's going on thick. That sealant is going on thick, man.
Yeah. And that's a lot of the problem, because some people, if you ever get in that industry, you got to make sure you're putting it on right. Because, I mean, if you pull it too thin, I mean, if you're trying to cheat your customer or anything like that, you could see it. It's obvious. You can't really – there's no watering down your material or pulling it extra thin, because you see the rock. And if you see a spot that's ever pulled too tight, it's like there's no rock right there.
Yeah. Does it leave a streak on the screed? That where you
on the screed? So sometimes you could leave streaks. Yeah, if you got too big of a rock, there'll be a streak that gets left behind there. We got to have a guy hop off, hey, pull that, try to make it look pretty, some handwork. And then everything with that back end, how dirty it looks, I mean, that has to be cleaned daily. That stuff is just crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to come out sometime. Once they clear us out, I'm going to come out and see you guys do the Slurry. So.
Oh, you're more than welcome to come on, hop on our truck. We had one guy last year from Hawaii. He hopped on the back of my truck. Like, hey, just come on. People are more than welcome to come and watch us.
Hey, man.
Yeah. He was on a road trip with his family. And he's like, hey, I'm going to be in Idaho. Where are you guys at? He's like, we're over here.
Social media is crazy, dude. And, when I first started doing that, going and visiting a lot of people and stuff, and now now I can't, which it kills me, dude. At least once a month, I would go try to visit somebody and then get some insight and stuff. I was really thankful to be able to go see people like Mark Estrada. I went down and seen Landon Escobar and went down to different seal master plants and things like that. And now, you can't do that, but you can learn so much, and you're able.
Oh, you learn way more. I mean, I've gone to we go to these meetings and all that. I've listened to their speeches before. I haven't gone to NPE, but we've gone for like the Slurry version of it.
Mhm.
And just talking to other people, you learn 10 times more. Hey, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? Being able to hop on a truck, it's just different, way better.
Yeah, dude, the networking is the big thing. That's why, like, you and I have talked back and forth, and then we do the podcast. We jump on here on the podcast, and it's not like we're strangers and you have to introduce yourself and shake your hand virtually. So, I really appreciate when people reach out, and, it's not as scary as people make it out to be, especially like you get to NPE and there's people that will recognize you and recognize your videos and stuff like that. And you instantly hit the ground hanging out with all these people. And it's just like, they ask about everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we all know each other. It's all a cool community. And I really appreciate you guys being part of it. And I appreciate you showing your work, you guys out there, Henry, because it gives us a peek into some things that some of us may not see and may not use and do and things like that. And I appreciate your pops letting you put stuff out there and your bros and stuff like that. And, people think we're weird at first when we start doing stuff like that. But then all of a sudden when shit starts popping off, then they're like, oh, maybe this guy maybe he does have the right mindset for this thing. So real quick before we're done, I want to ask you, I can't say hashtag don't say man. I want to ask you if there's anything that you want us to know about Boswell Paving, about you guys. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Tell me your social media stuff too. So.
No problem. Our social media is at Boswell Paving. That's where our Instagram's at. You can type in boswellpaving.com. Our business name is actually Boswell Asphalt Paving Solutions. We did that. We were rebranded into a corporation, and we just got the idea, well, we'll just make it bigger, longer word, because we're like, we'll pop up on Google better. Yeah. But I always still call us Boswell Paving because Boswell Asphalt Paving Solutions is just way too long.
Yeah, especially when you're introducing yourself to somebody, you know what I mean? So for the SEO purposes, we want to throw everything in there,
Yeah. But then I also want to touch back because you said about the Slurry being cracking and all that, because I didn't get to answer that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, no, don't worry. I just want to make sure I touch on that. Yeah. So the Slurry, it takes a big crack and it usually makes it into a smaller crack. So when we tell all our customers, hey, we can't fix a crack, but we could maybe turn a big crack into a small crack. So sometimes what we do is, hey, we'll slurry this parking lot, and then whatever cracks pop up, we'll crack fill it the next year. Okay. Because sometimes the cracks don't always pop up.
Yeah, that's a good upsell. Because I've seen that here, on even the micro seal, you get that you get that reflective cracking, which is but it's a minimal crack. You know what I mean? You see that it's a hairline crack. So you guys crack seal over the micro seal and the slurry seal, and it's all cool.
Yeah, it's all cool. Well, you got to wait a year. So we wait a year to do the crack filling. But sometimes people want us to crack fill before it, and some people want us to crack fill after it. Right. We basically give everybody options with what they want. Cool. And I just want to touch on that because I thought that was kind of important. It's like, oh man, I forgot to answer that. Yeah, it's like
otherwise I'm going to have to field that question, and then I'll have to ask you, and then I'll have to say, well, go to at Boswell Paving on Instagram. Yeah. Ask them, because
that's our biggest thing. We tell people it's the same life expectancy as a chip seal. Everything that we do, that's the biggest thing my dad's always says, don't ever oversell anybody. So when I tell people, hey, it's brown, it's a wear course surface. It's not going to look as pretty as seal coat. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to have that rock stuff, but it's just a wear course surface. All our stuff, we just be straightforward.
Yeah,
just
I think
what it is.
Transparency is the best bet, dude. And I was just talking with somebody today. I was actually one of the podcast sponsors, and we were talking about, how I do more than what I say I'm going to do when we sign our sponsors. And that's my biggest thing, dude, is, undersell and over deliver. And that's the big thing, dude. Say, we're going to do it. But then when you do more, people really appreciate that. So that's what we're doing too. So, dude, I really appreciate you being on, man. So at Boswell Paving on Instagram, correct?
Yeah. Boswell Paving on Instagram, boswellpaving.com. The easiest way to get a hold of me is just DMing me through Instagram. I check that most often more than my emails, to be honest.
Yeah, I knew you would. I had a feeling you were going to say that, dude. say that. That's how most.
But yeah, if anybody has any more questions about Slurry, I'd be glad to answer them. I mean, because I know some people had problems. I've had some people that say, "Hey, we're having trouble right here," and we'll give them a call up, and we'll just say, "Hey, well, let's look at your mix design. What does your mix design say? What are you using? Well, that looks different than ours because this industry, everything's different. Everything's dependent on your oil because my oil here in Idaho might be different than somebody's in New York or anything like that."
Yeah, true.
We met with people that are like, "Hey, well, our cement slows it down." And then it's like, "Well, our cement speeds it up." It's like, okay, we got to figure something. Everything depends. And that's the biggest thing with my dad's, hey, do something different. It kind of drilled into my head. Hey, don't, just because you got to be able to try things. Hey, maybe this might work better. Just be open-minded about everything.
Yeah. What happened when you guys were doing those first ones and it wasn't working out?
Oh man, it was a nightmare. I mean, when we first, we did the things that you weren't even supposed to do, and we didn't know that till after. So what we do is, we're just like, okay, you keep it in a pile. We're going to keep it in a pile because it's going to stay wet. It's going to stay wet, and we're going to be able to work with it longer. That is the farthest thing from the truth because it creates a chemical reaction. So we had to do a parking lot. We were shooting it into a skid steer bucket. Just like, okay, we're going to keep it in the pile. We're going to make it work a little bit better and dump it. And he was like, okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. We just kept trying. We had the people that sold it to us. They sent it out. They kind of helped us a little bit. And then we're like, okay. Then we had one other guy. We drove to one other guy, and he said, well, you're just missing a whole ingredient. You're not putting no additive in it. It's like, what the?
Crazy, dude. Crazy. Well, we appreciate you being a resource for us, especially. I don't even know if there's anyone out there that's ever said, hey, if you have questions on Slurry, call us. So maybe that's your guys' niche, when it comes to that. With all your social media stuff, dude, people can find you, DM you, and get a hold of you. Make sure you tell the family I said thanks for letting you be on the podcast. We hope you all stay safe out there, man.
Oh, thank you. And if you want them all on, I can get them all on. Or if we do another one.
Well, if I come out and see you, then we're definitely going to get everybody on. We're going to have one heck of a YouTube video. So sounds great. Henry, Boswell Paving, really appreciate it, man. We had a good time. I'm going to sign off, man. That's it, dude. We did it. You got a podcast under your belt, dude. So hopefully we get another one and we'll come out and see you. I really appreciate you being on the podcast.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Sorry, I was a little nervous. I know I can tell. I was like, damn it, I'm freezing up.
No, you're all good. You're all good. And, dude, it's springtime, so you're not allowed to freeze up anymore.
Yeah, I know. It just got hot a couple of days ago. I'm like, woof. I was like, dang, this is good.
We're ready for it. We're ready for it here too. It was 70-some degrees today, so I appreciate you being on, man, and I hope you guys get going because we're ready to get going too. I hope everybody who listens, all of our contractors that we know, that they get going. That's it for the podcast, episode 14. Of course, we want you to seal it, stripe it, pave it, and kill it. Peace.